This channel and the content on it was created for adults only, 18 plus. We don't promote or condone any illegal activity or the use of any illegal substance. This was created for informational and educational purpose only.
Smoking in the morning, smoking in the evening, smoking when I want to, smoking at the beach. Now I'm from California, we grow it every season. Our plants we need to feed them, we grow it for a reason, because we love our homegrown. We grow apart, we're in our garden, tending to our crop. We love our homegrown.
What up?
Happy Wednesday! Doubleheader Wednesday!
Happy
Oh my
Wednesday.
goodness.
You guys did amazing on
Yes.
that first interview,
Oh my
by the way.
goodness. Oh, thank you so much. It wasn't the same. You weren't there. I couldn't
I watched as
couldn't
much
give you
as I
some
could.
jabs here and there.
No, but you guys did good.
Oh, thank you. That was
You guys
so
did good.
fun.
I was watching.
That was so fun. So if anybody missed it, we were just speaking with Sebastian from 420 Fast Buds, and that's loaded on our page. We spoke to him earlier, and now we have Jorge Cervantes coming up.
Mhm.
So excited.
Yes.
So Bunny was able to join us for Sebastian, but she's with the kiddos now. So she's going to be hanging in the chat here. And Mr. Gannick's finally got off work, so he's coming to join for our conversation with Jorge. Oh my goodness, I'm so
I could have joined
excited.
on the last one.
So excited.
I could have joined like halfway through the last one, but you guys had such a good flow between you two that I was like, nope. I didn't want to like dive in and like, you know what I mean? You guys were doing great.
Crimp
So I
our
just
style.
watched. Exactly.
Ah,
So
the girls had it. The girls had it. We took care of things.
Yeah, it was good. You guys
So
did real good.
Today we have Jorge Cervantes joining us. So if you guys have any questions, please drop them in the chat, and Papa will throw a couple up on the screen, and we will try and get as many answers as we can. I know he's just so much information, just years and years and years of experience that
like legendary information.
I have a feeling. Exactly. So do you think we're ready for him? You wanna get going?
I think we're ready. I think I'm as ready as I'm gonna be.
Oh my God, let's bring on the legend.
Oh wow! Hey guys, nice to be here.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me on your program. Very nice.
Thank you so much for joining us. So I am Mama Kush. We spoke earlier. I am Mama Kush. We have Mr. Gannick's down here. Miss C Bunny, she's in the chat. She's with her kiddos right now. So she's here with us, but just not on screen. And welcome, Mr. Jorge Cervantes. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's actually, it's light over there where you're at. I'm just outside of Barcelona, Spain. So it's nighttime here. Yeah, and so much is different. But, I mean, it's funny. I used to live in Burnaby, BC in the mid-90s. Yeah, that's when things were walking heavy there. It was a big
I grew up in Vancouver, so Burnaby was my stomping grounds. I grew up down there. Yeah. I bet you
Burnaby was great because it was like right next to Vancouver. So, and I was, just right off the highway or the freeway right into town. And then, that's when Mark Emery had his store down there, and we shot the first big video I did with High Times. Jorge Cervantes, what's the name of that? Ultimate Grow video. Yeah. And it was mainly about indoors and stuff. In fact, Mark got arrested. Well, the whole store got popped by the DEA, and they had like 1 million cops there during that time. And we were shooting across the street. Yeah, there was an old bank across the street. Somebody had
the
loaned
bank,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, you know where it is on East Hastings, Lower Hastings. Yeah.
It's crazy. My
Yeah,
mom
man.
actually went to school with Mark Emery. He's
Oh,
from where
really?
I live. Yeah, he's from where I live originally. Well, I don't know if he was
London,
born
right?
here,
He
but
was from
London, Ontario. Yep.
Yeah, London. Yeah, that's
Yep.
what I remember, because
Yep.
that was kind of like what was happening during those days. But now things have changed a little bit over there, eh?
Absolutely.
Yes.
He actually ran
It
for
is,
city council or something here
Right.
at one
right.
point in time.
I remember what
yeah.
was the joke? Nobody has to dig up any dirt on Mark because it's all in his advertising.
That's right.
You owned it.
Amazing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he was very outspoken, definitely outspoken guy. But he was really instrumental in getting my books across the border, because back then, oh man, I tried to send books across the border for years. About every 6 months, 6 to 8 months, I'd send another shipment across. We tried everything, and they kept beating them up and sending them back. Yeah, that's one of them. Well, that was what,
That's the Bible.
2006. Yeah, and that was the all color edition. That one, that's in a lot of languages too. It's they had to change the name to what's the name? It's a French edition, but that was printed in France. Yeah. There's a lot of photos there from BC, actually.
Oh, nice.
Still,
Oh, really?
yeah.
That's
Oh,
cool.
yeah. And photos from BC and where else? And from South America and here in Spain as well. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't know
The
how you keep it straight, because I mean, you've been everywhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm kind of like, I'm a bit tired of traveling. I've done a lot of traveling and kind of followed the
Can we
cannabis
talk about
movement
the
around.
disguise days for a minute?
You
used to have to.
Oh,
Is that
yeah. I had to wear a disguise. Yeah, the disguise. I had to wear a disguise. That, in fact, in the first video, the video I shot there, it was, what did I call it? My Che Marley look, with a beret and black hair, blonde hair, and a dark beard. Well, a black beard, actually. Now it's gray. It used to be kind of a reddish color, reddish brown. But those days are long gone. Yeah, but
We get better with age, though.
in the 40 years that I've been doing this, or actually 41, this year marks the 41st year that I've been into this, into the cannabis world. That's publicly, not privately, right? That's another lifetime.
That'd be 1982.
Yeah, 83. 83 is when the first marijuana horticulture book came out. It was indoor marijuana horticulture, actually, because that we learned to grow indoors. And actually, you can go to my website, marijuanagrowing.com, and see all I've done more than 50 books, and there's tons of videos too. So yeah, but it made a difference. I made a little bit of difference in the way the world works. So that was my goal. And
really changed it, though.
Pardon?
You really changed it, because you really changed the game with those books, because back then people didn't talk about their growing techniques. They kept that stuff, to themselves. It was their own secret sauce. Nobody really shared or talked about it. So for you to bring out a book and say this is what we need to be doing, you really did change the game for so many people. I know that for a fact.
So it was hard though, because I'd ask all these questions, and same questions to a lot of people. Everybody thought I was a damn narc or something, And it is, I don't know, we don't hear that word too much anymore, but they thought, oh yeah, he's a narc. And it took a bit to get over on that, you know, and then crossing so many borders. Heck, I mean, I got stopped at that Canadian border. I've been in the little room answering the questions a bunch of times.
What was the hardest place for you to go to, like country wise?
Probably Australia, because they asked me if I was a Nazi. It's like, no, I'm not a Nazi. Nobody's ever asked me that before. Yeah, but that was because they have a lot of restrictions to go to Oz. I've been there a couple of times, and actually, it was like in the 90s, I think, early 90s. Those guys, maybe it was later, I don't know. I'd have to look at dates and stuff. But actually, those guys, they had more grow stores per capita than any place in the world. And mainly in Melbourne, yeah, they were. It was really big.
It's still illegal over there, I believe, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's quite illegal now. Because see, what happens? What I learned anyway. What happens is people start growing, especially indoors. And the Australians, see, they've got this British heritage, right? Kind of, but you know, a bunch of those guys are like awkers. What do you call them? Like kind of cowboys is what we call them. And so you know, they figure they can do anything they want. So the deal is, I got a lot of good friends from Oz, but the thing is, it's like the law enforcement follows the illegal activities, and it follows society, and it takes anywhere from 2 to 5 years to catch up. So there's this really nice sweet spot right at first, and you get in on that, and that's where I was. The same thing in Canada. It happened in the mid 90s, and in Switzerland it happened in the late 90s. In Switzerland there was 8 years where it was just totally uncontrolled. You know, most people over on that side of the world don't really think about it. And then there's other places. But that's more mafia-like, you know, in Mexico and Colombia, those places. But Colombia, they've got the Indians in the Valley of Cauca, Cauca, where it's kind of a confederation of tribes there. But they own that, they run that whole area. Yeah, but that's where the main growing's going, or it was. It used to be when it was illegal. Now you can grow like 20 plants in Colombia, and it started to be more legal. Yeah, and same with Mexico. Yeah, a lot of places. In Argentina, you can sell clones and stuff, and seeds are legal everywhere.
I didn't know that. I kind of figured most places, but I mean, clones and actual plants and stuff like that. I mean, I like hearing that, because it's, you know, the stigma is kind of starting to kind of fade away, which is a nice thing to see.
Well, yeah, it is. But you can. There's quite a few videos and a lot of movement in Argentina right now, and Mexico. There's not quite so much. They damn mafia, you know. I mean, they're so strong there, you know. So it's hard. Yeah, I've been on he was supposed to be Cuban, that guy. He came over. He was Pacino is Italian, but Cuban, and Cuba. I've been to Cuba too. You guys can go to Cuba. You're a big trading partner with Cuba, actually.
Yes.
So I went there. Oh man, 25, almost 30 years ago now.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it was really illegal from the U.S. to go there. In fact, I flew out of. You could go anywhere but U.S. territory, so I flew out of Toronto a couple of times when I went there. Yeah.
As long as the plane doesn't land or something like that, there's all these rules that you can skirt around the rules.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You gotta pay attention to those, because when you're in that, like, it's really no man's land. You don't have any rights. You just don't have any rights. You have to answer the questions, and if you don't answer the question, they just put you in the room until you do. If you
Yeah.
want to leave, and they don't care if you miss your plane, or they don't care anything. If your luggage is lost, they don't care any of that stuff. You
Totally
just
different world.
so you
What's
have nothing in
been
your
your,
pockets.
what's been your
Pardon?
scariest moment? What's been your scariest moment?
Oh, well, I don't know. There've been a lot of them.
I'm sure you've had a lot.
I don't know, but actually, I haven't, like, it's been, well, years and years ago. Before I did public stuff, I used to move loads up and down the coast, the West Coast, but I've not smuggled across international borders knowingly. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
small stuff. I mean, but I just haven't. I've been careful not to, because you don't want to get on the list. Once you get on the list, there's this little thing by your
That's it.
name.
Yeah.
Probably, I know, I remember, probably during Green Merchant in 1989. That's when they popped. Oh gosh, 120 of my friends went to jail or
Oh
were
my
arrested,
goodness.
and most of them went to jail or prison, like actual prison, like state
Yeah.
penitentiary. And it was a joint effort with the DEA and the local law enforcement. So it kind of depended on, who got you as to where you go, if it was federal or state. But yeah, I was helping Neville Schoenmaker run into find seeds, different varieties of cannabis, that started what they did. Or started a lot of different varieties. And that was probably the scariest time, because I was writing for High Times, and but I didn't advertise a store in High Times. I only advertised books, and they put everybody together. They couldn't get me on the RICO Act, the Racketeering Act, and I was pretty nervous that they would figure out a way to do it. But they arrested people and put them in jail. Took all their assets, all their assets. My good friend Tom Alexander, they cleaned his store out, and he had the magazine Seen to Me at Tips. And he had that for 10 years, and then for 20 years he had Growing Edge magazine. Yeah, it was a competitor of Maximum Yield. It was published by Jim Jessen. Yeah, I'm still in contact with him.
Nice.
Oh yeah, all these guys. These are all my old buddies and stuff. Yeah, sure.
So when you wrote for High Times, is that when you met Kyle Cushman?
Yeah. That's when he started there. He started. Quite some time ago. Yeah.
Because he was there. He was there back in, I think, the early '90s, I believe, is when he started. I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, he came in. I just talked to him the other day, and he's down in LA or Southern California, somewhere down there. And we were talking about dates and stuff. Maybe it was early 90s. I remember going, that's when they were in New York. They were in like Midtown New York. And or Manhattan actually, not New York. New York's the five boroughs. But he was there. That was I think his father was an English instructor. Yeah, he's got really good grammar.
So writing probably just came naturally to him, I'm sure then.
yeah, I think so. He was always good at it, and he's a good guy. What can I say? Old co-worker. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's anyway. I'd see them when I go to New York when they had when it was there. Now they moved to Los Angeles. I think it was the old Woolworth building they were in. Yeah, because I went there right after they moved, and yeah, since then it's changed a bit. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a totally different world out there now than I'm sure it was 30 years ago.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
the amount of stories that you could probably pull out. Like now you did a lot of outdoor growing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a lot of now did you have any moments with your outdoor crop that you were a little worried about? Did you have any
Yeah, when the helicopter comes
those
over,
moments?
you always hide. Don't look up. You hide. Always hide. Yeah, that's
Always.
yeah. The airplanes aren't so bad because they can only take pictures. They go pretty fast, and then
Yeah.
the airplanes can't fly up to canyons and stuff. It's pretty hard for them because the way the wind is and stuff. But those damn helicopters, they can go anywhere. One time in Southern California, they were outside in Santa Barbara, California. They were recently in the news. They've been flooded again. But they were looking for a missing hiker, and they thought it was me. And I got that confused with thinking that they were looking for me. And I was growing quite a big place there. And anyway, they didn't find me, and they didn't find the hiker. And then I guess they found the hiker later. I don't know. I didn't pay attention, but yeah, the guy, they can come right down and like be really close to you and stuff. You can see everything from one of those helicopters. Oh yeah, I've been in them, and gosh, you look down, you can see everything. It's really pretty great. Yeah.
I bet the crop got a good workout too with the helicopter. You get some good waves going with the
no, actually, this wasn't over the cannabis crop. It was along San Isidro Creek. San Isidro, that's right. Yeah, San Isidro Creek. Yeah, it's a creek. Yeah, and yeah, I hid under a big rock. And finally, they just I was right down there. They couldn't go down there. There's too much brush and everything. Got scratched up pretty good, but so what?
Yeah.
I'm here now. That's what counts.
Well worth it. Worth the scratches.
Yeah, but anyway, back then it was a kind of a bad deal. I know a guy that put I can say this now, but he put sugar in the gas tank of the airplanes there for the local drug guys. Yeah, sure. Heck with those guys. I mean, they ruin people's lives and stuff, and they've taken the cannabis from everybody. It's just, it's a political event. That's it.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? You got to fight back. My goal was just to get as many people growing as possible, and in all over the world, because not just in Canada, because I lived in Canada, I lived in BC, like I said, in Burnaby, but later I moved to the Netherlands and was there for a couple of years, and then the weather is just so rotten there. It's 52 degrees north latitude. See, so for you guys, that's about as far north as Edmonton is. Edmonton, Alberta. So it's way north, eh? And then later I moved to Spain. The weather's a lot nicer here, let me tell you. Way nicer. But yeah, and then also, in Switzerland, like, I think I mentioned, pardon. I think I mentioned before, but that was before the program, that there was about an 8-year period when there was really no controls at all on cannabis in Switzerland. Yeah, and they had huge farms. In fact, a couple of years ago, I went back to Canatrade, and it was, where was it? It was in Basel, Bern, yeah, and Zurich, yeah, because we went later to Zurich, and gosh, it was killer. I got to see all these old friends I hadn't seen for years and stuff, and yeah, it's great. But Canatrade's a big fair, or well, it used to be, and now it's okay. I think they have it every other year. But yeah, Ben got it together. Ben, what's his last name? Arndt. Ben Arn, A-R-N. Yeah, Ben Arn, great guy. But yeah, he got it together. But they had huge grows in all around the Zurich area, and then also in the French-speaking region by Martigny. They had this one guy, Bernard Rapaz. He got arrested so many times that he started getting his mail at the jail. He would stop. Yeah,
His permanent address was
his permanent address. Yeah, for about 5 years. Yeah, and then, but the biggest place, and you wouldn't think of Switzerland, right? It's a big growing area. So, but the biggest place they were growing there was in Ticino, into the Italian part. There's only like 6% of the Switzerland talks Italian. It's a lot easier to understand because I can understand, okay, but because I talk the Spanish. So you spend like a couple months over there, you're fine. You get a headache for a few weeks, and then after that you pick up a lot.
Pick up enough, yeah.
You're still slow and you don't get everything, but so anyway, I got on real well with the guys. Mm-hmm. But it was so big there because, and they hooked into the old, well, see, there's been smuggling go on there for years. And they hooked into there was, they would smuggle chocolate out. I know the guy, he's kind of a real wanker, eh? Screwed a bunch of people out of money. Friends out of money. I'm not going to say names, but anyway, he can't go back to Switzerland, but he can go. He's Italian, so I got to watch it. So he goes, but they would smuggle chocolate out of Switzerland, and then they would smuggle cigarettes back into from Italy to Switzerland. That was the big mafia thing. For years they've been doing that. Same families, everything. Yeah. And then, when cannabis got big, they just started doing cannabis. They just changed from one to the other. But yeah, it was huge. Oh, wow. It was huge for, well, like I said, about 8 years. Yeah, there was a lot. Quite a few photos in that book are from Switzerland as well. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. The photos in here are just absolutely, like, you can see I'm all bookmarked here. I got all my little bookmarks.
Good. Yeah,
this is amazing.
Yeah, it was the best technology I could get right at the time. There's still there now. You've got better photos. There are better photos for sure.
Yeah,
but I mean, it was right on top of all the technology. You couldn't get any better images than that.
Absolutely. Yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah. Now that one, the purple ones, the Encyclopedia of Cannabis. This one here, I got a copy of it here. It's fat and everything. It's got a lot of photos in it. It's for free. You can get it for free on my website. You can buy copies if you like the hard copies, but you can get it for free on my website, marijuanagrowing.com. And well, you guys are a bilingual country with French as well, so it's in French and English, but it's also in a total of 11 different languages. I translated to 11 different. Yeah. It's really a good deal. in Spanish too, because it just wasn't, the hard copy is only in English, and all of the website. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Anyway, yeah, and you can go up to the, oh yeah, you can click on the book, or well, actually the whole site's in all kinds of 11 different languages. Yeah, it's,
Oh, wow.
see, here in Europe, you gotta cater to the whole world. You can't just keep
Yes.
with one language, you know. Just it's just not. It's like you
It's
can't get on
global,
too well.
it's a global plant. You know, it's the one plant that
Yep.
has brought the world together. You know, like, you know, I don't think the rose community has sessions like this like we do. You know.
No, they don't. But maybe the orchid guys do. Those guys are kind of a bunch of
Oh,
freaks. You know?
yeah, I've heard about the orchid guys. You gotta watch out for those ones.
Yeah, when I started with the cannabis world and or writing anyway, I lived in Portland, Oregon, and it was there and also in Santa Barbara, California, both places. I joined the Orchid Society, you know, because I'm kind of like that little freaky too. And man, I'll tell you, those guys are just weird. I thought I was a bit weird, but those guys are, you know, I mean, there's a whole room full of them. You know, but it's amazing. Orchids are great, you know. God, yeah.
Yeah, we actually used to
Probably say
have
the
somebody.
same about us.
We actually used to have somebody that was part of our panel that he used to love growing orchids, and I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
sure if he still
Yeah.
does it or not, but he was amazing at it. So,
Oh yeah.
and I know
yeah.
a lot of people struggle with orchids. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, no, the big deal is to get them to bloom twice. Once you get them to bloom twice, you know, you can get them to continually bloom. Yeah. But like here in this climate, you know, well, Santa Barbara, for example, Southern California, it's, well, I don't know, DA zones and stuff. The Department of Agriculture, not district attorney. But the Cymbidium orchids are really easy to grow. Yeah, I took care of like literally hundreds of them there. Yeah. And here in this climate, you know, it's weird. Spain it's just not a big gardening country. It's just not like France and Italy. Italy they're just more interested. Even Switzerland's more interested in gardening than Spain. But they're
It's like regular
really,
gardening. I mean, just
yeah.
household gardening.
But for orchids, you know, you can find a few orchids. The Miltonias are the main ones you find here, and they're in the stores. But this climate is made for Cymbidium orchids, and I haven't seen them just readily available. You know, and it seems like they should be. Seems like everybody should have. I've been looking for a good source of an expensive source.
Wow.
Yeah, because I'd have a couple hundred of them. I'll tell you.
Maybe that could be your new venture. Maybe you can be the one to kind of get that going.
Oh, I don't know. It takes a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. You got to have a lot of land, and it's farming. It's farming. You know, it'd be a lot. And two, we've got a water shortage here. But there's not that many. They don't really require that much water care. Actually, you know, I mean, they grow in the crotch of trees usually, or hanging onto a tree as the epiphyte. But because, you go to Colombia, they're everywhere. I mean, it's amazing. You go to the tropics, they're everywhere, from all the way Central America, or South Mexico, all the way through Brazil. They're there, you know, in Peru and Amazonas, everywhere. Yeah.
That must be a sight to see. Whew, that must be
Yeah,
so pretty.
it really is. You know,
That'd be really cool.
They kind of overtake stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be different because, like, here, you don't see them just growing naturally normally. Like,
Oh no.
you go to people's houses and they always have them in pots in their window or something like that. They're giving them their ice cubes, you know.
Right.
But I mean, other than that, we don't really see them
one.
here.
I've got a fake one. I can't
Well,
keep
those
the real
are
life.
It'll always be in bloom.
There you go. That's took the words out of my
I'm gonna
mouth.
dust it off once in a while. I'm good. Well, I always say
That's
that I have a black thumb. I can't. If I'm growing something, I've had to learn how to grow it, and that's where this book came in handy. Is because I had to learn everything about growing the cannabis plant. I didn't even know. Like my mind was blown when I found out there was males and females. I was like, what? How does that even work? Don't understand. Like, really, I started from the very beginning. And actually, one of my first strains that I was ever gifted was one of the strains named after you. It was Jorge Diamonds from
Oh,
Dutch
really?
Passions.
Cool. Yeah, that's from.
And I grew that for 5 years, and I just lost her lost my mom last year when we had the wildfires and we were evacuated. I lost all my mums. So I loved growing her outside. She was beautiful. I was hoping I'd have her right out here, but no, didn't make it this year. So, but
yeah,
yeah, I just
cool.
it was really cool for so long because it was a beautiful plant. Oh, it's one of my favorites.
Excellent. Yeah, I'd say it's a heavy indica. That is quite a good one. Yeah, I did that with Dutch Passion.
Dutch Passion,
Hank,
yeah.
Hank, yeah. All those guys, all those Dutch guys are like two. Hank is like, I think he's 2 meters plus, and he's over 2 meters. For people that don't talk meters, that's 6 feet 6 inches. A lot of Dutch guys are 2 meters, 2 meter people. That's pretty good size. Yeah. It's weird because there's so many. A lot of the guys I dealt with. Well, like for example, the Hells Angels in BC. I've been over the clubhouse. Because a lot of those guys they were controlling a lot of the growing and stuff. I knew the buyer for the Angels. Yeah, he had to buy back in the mid '90s $1 million Canadian a month. That's what he had to buy so they could move it. Yeah, that's what they were moving. Yeah, they're moving a lot. And then those guys, the other Angels over there in Laval. But these guys are guys, you don't think of as growing too much, you think of them like motorcycle guys or something, right?
Yeah.
And but those guys in Laval, the book you held up, the marijuana horticulture book, they pirated that book and printed like several thousand copies. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, you can tell the pirated ones because it's got a silver cover. On the inside, it's silver. Like on this part, when you open it, it's silver. It's silver.
Okay.
But that one, see, that's
mine's white.
that's one of the first editions there. Yeah, actually, that's one of the first ones because that's got all the quotes and stuff.
I would hate to have a pirated version.
Well, actually, they were. It was the one before that. And that was one of the reasons I put everything in color, because I talked to one guy, I got a hold of this guy at the clubhouse, and he said, he said a few things, but basically come over and talk to me. And I said, no, that was the conversation. But those guys, I do have to thank them. Because of them, I thought, how can I get these guys to not pirate my books? Because it's my livelihood. That's how I've made a living just doing that. I don't grow to make a living, and most people do. I've only stayed with publishing, and because the public persona I am, and so. What I decided to do is make it too expensive to copy. And that's why I made it all color, because that was the 5th edition in your hand, but it was the 4th edition that they'd copied. And that had, I don't know, like 36 color pages or something. And then I had to move to China, which was a lot cheaper to print there. And but now I don't even print books. I just put them on the internet. But so I I can't say all kinds of bad things. You know, I said it was unpleasant at the time, but it prompted me to go forward and do more.
Pushed.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah. So, you know, what the heck?
Well, that
And everybody benefits. See, that's the good thing. Everybody benefits. That's the part I like. You know,
That's
we
right.
all do better. The whole world gets more.
Yeah, and now we have
So-
a color edition of your book,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
super cool. So the consumer benefited as well.
Yeah,
So
it's a good deal. So I'm pleased that it happened.
If you were going to be talking to a new grower today, what would be your advice for a new grower today?
If they're growing indoors or outdoors or in a greenhouse.
Somebody wants to get started. Somebody wants to get started.
If they want
What
to
kind of
get
advice?
started, well, first thing I'd say is start with good seeds, good genetics, and I would probably stay with soil, because soil, and I like organic soil is to me the best, but it's really hard. You know, you can start. I would start seeds indoors and then move them outdoors, and yeah, and I'd get easy to grow variety. For example, whatever. I mean, that's a whole other story there. I do a bunch of stuff with seedsmen, so you can call them up and ask them, or go to their site. Yeah, that'd work really well. And they're expert guys. And yeah, I've known them for years. We're old connections together. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that'd be the first thing. Start them indoors and then transplant them outdoors, and grow quite a few plants. Don't just grow one or two. Grow whatever the legal maximum is, and maybe a little bit more, because you got to count on some of them going to die, because you'll probably screw something up and kill them. You know?
if you don't, the weather might if they're outside, right?
Yeah, and I'd also grow some vegetables too, if you move them outdoors. So you can grow several different kinds of plants, because it's really a learning experience. But move them outdoors, move them into good soil. You know, dig a big enough hole. It doesn't have to be that deep. Well, it can be deep, but it doesn't have to be that deep. But it has to be wide, because most of the roots are in the top couple inches. You know, except for the anchoring roots, or the roots that go really deep. And if they're going to grow in a container, I'd still go with soil. Buy a good soil, a good premium soil, and yeah, and make sure the containers are big enough. I like the containers that are the smart pot. Well, there's smart pot is what they call them, but the air pruning or root pruning containers.
Yes.
Those tend to get a lot more a bigger root mass, and they're easier to deal with. And I would also, well, I'd look at the information that I make, you know, because it's free. You get this free. But don't listen to a lot of people. If you have somebody, a friend or somebody that is successful, they must be successful. A lot of people just talk. Well, I heard this, I heard that, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
They're full of shit. They're full of shit. Don't listen to them. Listen to somebody that's successful, that can prove that they're successful. Because the people that talk a lot, they're usually, that's their best skill, is talking, not growing. So,
Yep. Very true.
Very true. Very true.
And, if you change anything well, let's say as far as genetics go, I mean, you have the fast bud guys on the other day.
Yeah.
They have the auto flowering seeds. You know, those work really well. And pretty much everybody has them now, the auto flowers. But those are quite interesting.
Yeah.
Because they're non-photoperiodic reacting. You know, I mean, you don't have to turn the lights to 12 hours. And if you're
Yes.
growing indoors, get decent LED lights, spend enough money and get decent ones, and look for the usable amount of grow light that they use, the ppf factor, not just the par factor. I can't remember what all that stuff means right now, because I'm tired. I haven't thought about it for a while either. I have to think about things every day, otherwise I forget. I remember, it's funny, I remember old stuff. And then what else? Yeah, those are the main things.
Genetics and lights, yeah.
Yeah, but you've got to keep up with the plant, pay attention. But like I say, grow other plants, flowers and vegetables as well, because that'll give you a real idea. And if you want to kill something, you can kill them. Because the cannabis seeds are pretty expensive usually.
Yeah, you get a pack of tomato seeds at the pharmacy if you want to for $1.99, where you got to order your seeds online for cannabis, and they're expensive. And
exactly.
Yeah.
But I have to say, starting the tomato seeds is quite difficult though, because you open a tomato, you look at that tomato, and the seeds are really small. They're really small little guys, like poppy seeds or something, really small. And well, poppy seeds are like round, and these are flat little things. So they're hard to start, actually. And most people buy starts at the seedling starts at the nursery. But but start other seeds too, and as well. But cannabis seeds are really actually are fairly easy to start and stuff. They'd be like beans or something. Beans are really easy. Corn's really easy. Any kind of squash is really easy, because those are all big seeds. But you get to those small seeds, and with the flower seeds as well, they're a lot trickier to start.
The one year I started tomatoes from seed, but I had a tomato from the grocery store, and I just cut a slice of it.
Oh yeah.
And planted the slice, and when they all started popping up, I just started pulling them each individually, one at a time, as gently as I could, and just started planting them in different pots. It was cool.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. You got to make sure you get a decent variety. There was, over here we've got the EU, and they limit the seeds we can get. They've got to be on the list and stuff. But in Canada or North America, or both of the Americas, it's not controlled like it is here. And there's some really good vegetable seed companies as well. Tomato Grower Supply is the one that comes to mind. And they're in Florida, Fort Myers, Florida. And they had, they had 150, 200 different varieties of tomatoes. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even know there was that many. I knew there was a lot, but I didn't know there was that many. That's crazy.
In fact, there's been a big controversy about tomatoes, because most of them, see, you guys, you've got the BC hothouse tomatoes. They call them hothouse tomatoes.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. But a lot of the tomatoes are losing flavor, because they have them they have a thicker skin. The skin is like, actually, you can see there's one of them they even call long keeper. You could throw one of those suckers through the window, and it will break the window. It wouldn't like go smash. It would like break the window.
Wow.
Yeah. But they're losing flavor and stuff, and bringing that up, I morph into the cannabis, and a lot of the cannabis can be getting the same. It's getting a lot more homogeneous than it was, because there's so many crosses, and cannabis is an outbreeding plant, like people, right? So people, horses, dogs, it's all outbreeding. Okay, so when it's an outbreeder, it's got to breed with something outside of its gene pool, right? So you got that going on, but then you've got the male and the female, and there's so many different crosses going on. And usually people don't take time to stabilize a variety, a strain of cannabis. So it's a true breeding plant, an actual true breeder that you can look. Well, the one place there was Phylos Bioscience. I know they've kind of fallen out of favor with a lot of people, but they had this galaxy on there where you could go look at the plants that they've analyzed, and you could see how true of a breeder they are. And there's just a handful of plants that are, you can count on as being true breeders. So what happens is all of these genetics are mixed up, and that's why you get these recessive traits. And a lot of time a recessive trait won't show up for 5 generations. Oh yeah, no, yeah. I mean, a heck of a lot of time. Usually, many times it's only 3, but all too many times it can be 5 generations later, and you get 2 recessive traits with the alleles that join together, and you pretty much got real bad plants. And
that's amazing. I didn't realize it could go 5.
Yeah.
Like I've heard 3, but I've never heard 5 before. That's amazing.
No, it can be 5. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a lab, friends of mine over in Zenigen, Switzerland, that they do that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's good and bad that there's all the breeding that happened. And there's, people took all the initiative and stuff to do this breeding, and because it's been scary and it's been illegal to do. But generally, people have not had big enough populations to breed with. They've had a real small population, because you've got to have like a heck of a lot of them, and choose from a lot of different plants.
Go on that big hunt. Yep.
Yes, and then, well, that's just for phenotype, but nobody talks about genotypes, and that's really a big deal. That's kind of like where it's at.
Could you maybe explain that? Because it's not something that we hear a lot of, and I don't think a lot of people understand what a genotype is.
Okay, a phenotype is a characteristic that will the basic thing, so it doesn't get confusing. Is phenotype is something that can change over time, or that can change within a plant according to the climate and everything, and it'll express itself differently in different climates, and it's a variable. A genotype is consistent; it goes consistently through. So you've got one that's consistent and one that can vary. So you can have, that's the base. And to get a total accurate one, I'd advise people to look it up and study it, because it'll take a while. There's a good definition here, of course, but there's but look it up in relation to plants. It's quite important. So after that, there's so many crossing, and people use terms incorrectly, like landrace. Landrace is usually used incorrectly, and people claim. I mean, one of the things that really blew me out was in Colombia, and not so much in Mexico, but Colombia, because I spent more time and went with more growers in Colombia than Mexico, and what I found was, there's only like a dozen. See, what happened is, like, all of the old hippies and seed breeders and people, seed collectors and stuff, what they did is they took all of these seeds and they took them to different parts of the world. The ones that landed in the Netherlands at first, and then now they're all over the place. But they landed in the Netherlands. That was kind of like the center of breeding, and then later it became BC. Too, because both places were really big, and then now it's spread out all over the place, in many places in the U.S. and Canada too. But they took them and then they crossed them with the local plants there, and so consequently the gene pool is all mixed up, It's more more crosses and stuff. But I was really surprised to find in Colombia there's like a dozen different varieties that they're growing consistently. Yeah, and they make a lot of cuttings, a lot of clones, a lot of times, and that was really big. People don't go back to seed, and a lot of times the reason they don't go back to seed is because they're inconsistent. And you know, you should have like 95, 99% stability for the seeds, and like a real top quality breeder was letting seeds, well, selling seeds are 80% consistent. You plant 10 seeds and 8 of them will look pretty much alike. But you know, it's that just doesn't cut it anymore. It's wrong to do. And so what's happened in the breeding world is, well, you look at like corn, for example, Zea maíz, or wheat, or soybeans. Soybeans is another good example. Those are very big commercial crops. And when you plant like when you plant like 100 acres or hectareas or more, or anything more than 10 acres, you got to plant seeds, because you can't plant them fast. You can't plant little plants fast enough. So you got to drill these seeds in. So when you look at the corn, if you look at the corn or the wheat, it's all flat. Everything's the same altitude, or the same height. Yeah. That's because the seeds are the same. They're all the same. They're consistent. You look at a cannabis field, and that's planted from seed, you'd be hard pressed to find everything that's consistent.
Very true.
You know, and that's where we're at today. So we've got a lot of catching up to do, a heck of a lot of catching up to do. But I'm really happy that people are, well, there's people that are well educated, not just like fanatics like me, you know.
There's people like you. There's people like you that made it possible for people like us to be able to actually do this. You know, if it wasn't for people like you or Kyle Cushman or some of these other big names that are out there that are still doing it today, if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be sitting here right now having this conversation publicly. And,
you know, it's funny. A lot of these guys, I can't tell. I mean, I've literally personally talked to hundreds of people that have a PhD degree in plant sciences that got into it because of stuff I wrote. You know, they read my books. I mean, it's serious. I'm serious. It's pretty flattering. It's pretty cool, actually.
You've paved a way for a lot of people, and it's, you know, we do from the community. Thank you for that, for allowing for all your hard work that's now allowed us to pick up and carry on. Right.
Well, thank you so much. This is a reward right now to be. It's a reward. Yeah. That's what I get back. You know, I mean, because it's been a tough life publishing, and, you know, scary stuff, but well, so what, you know?
So when are we going to get the Jorge Cervantes biography book? That's what we're all waiting.
Actually, what you should do is look at, you know, biographies just don't sell that well. Maybe I'll take time to write something, but they don't sell that well. Usually, like, a movie sells better than anything else.
There you go.
YouTube video, because nobody reads. Very few people. Only 20% of the people read books before the internet became prominent, and now fewer people read books. So and I'm giving all of my books away now, or I mean, not all of them. I mean, the ones that we've got printed will still print, but the new ones, like, you know, this one from 2015, another one called We Grow Cannabis. It's a 100-page book that's also on my website. It's also in Spanish, and we're making it into other languages as well. Yeah. But it's that's what I do. It's been my goal to help people grow more and better cannabis, and it's really been rewarding because, well, it's helped so many people, and it's literally changed their lives, and that's what feels good.
Yeah,
It's
That's
better
amazing.
than money.
Right? Aw,
Yeah, I
that's
agree.
fabulous.
Yeah,
That
definitely,
is fabulous.
100%. Yeah. So,
Well,
yeah. Anyway, but what I'd suggest you do is go to my website. It's probably Jorge-Cervantes.com. And look up about Jorge, and you'll see that you'll see the more than 50 books that I've written. You won't see the last couple books. Yeah, the We Grow Cannabis, you won't see that one, but the other ones you'll see. Yeah, but more than 50. I couldn't believe it. I mean, my technical guy, Marcelo, he says, well, like, I got to know how many books you wrote. I thought I'd written, like, I don't know, about 30, and God, I kept adding them up, and it's like 50. Yeah, and that's a lot
50.
of
That's crazy.
videos.
That's a lot of
books.
information.
Yeah.
That's a lot of information.
Oh, there's the old. There's the old
There it is.
disguise. Yeah. That's old days. Old days.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Wow.
Well, we're
So
we're
very
coming
nice.
up.
Yeah,
I think
now I'm old guy.
Yeah, you just had your 70th birthday, didn't you? Happy birthday.
Yes, I did. I did in October last year. Yeah. Now I'm. Wow. Yeah. I
Oh, it's
can't
quite
believe it.
it's quite
It's as big a surprise to me as to anybody.
That's awesome.
Well, we'll go ahead and I know it's getting late for you, and I think we've kept
Yeah,
you a
it's
little bit
9
longer.
o'clock here.
It's time for you to go to bed, sir, and it's only noon here my time. So I still got the rest of the day to go. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we
Yes,
really
thank you
do
very
appreciate
much.
it. And if we would love to have you back again, because I have a feeling we could definitely go on for hours and hours about your amazing stories.
Well, I
and
think
your
we got
amazing
about
life.
49 more books to cover, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of information in your head. So I think
Yeah,
definitely.
I don't know. Man, most of it like leaked out this ear over here.
But it's probably like anything else. So like once you start talking about it, things start coming back, and you're like, oh yeah, I
the
do know
memory
that.
jars.
Wow.
The memory comes back.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's gone forever.
It happens. It
It
happens.
does.
Well, hey, thank you so much for having me on. I
you.
really appreciate it, and keep doing what you guys are doing. It's really nice. Really nice.
Thank you. And you're welcome back anytime. We've got an open invitation, sir. We do Grow Me Gardens on Fridays. So if you just want to come and hang out for a little bit, you're more than welcome to come and join us.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Yeah, just yeah. Let's see. I got the information. I'll give it to Marcelo and he can organize it, or Stefan. Stefan can organize. Yeah, because I'm not so organized as those guys.
That's why I got Papa. He keeps me accountable.
Very good. Very good. Okay, thank you so much, and have a great afternoon, guys.
All right, happy growing.
Ciao.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god, I'm shaking. Oh my goodness. What a man. What a legend. Oh my goodness.
It's pretty amazing.
Oh boy, that was so fun.
We got to get him back. Yeah. There's more info in there, and I think
I just want to address something. We had Matt from IK on THC. He called this out. If it's a lake, yes, it's a real lake. It's not a green screen.
Matt, you're right. You're right. It's a green screen. I say it every year.
Yeah, if you watch, I pay for the ducks. The ducks will show up once in a while. Maybe you'll see an eagle too. Hey, there could even be a
Yes.
bear that comes out, and there could be a bear right behind me in one day. Who knows?
It's happened.
It's happened.
Not behind you, but it happened out front when you were out back one live.
Yep, and a cougar. We had a bear and a cougar within 5 minutes of each other while I was live. I couldn't believe
Yes.
it. That was pretty crazy. And
That's
I would think I
crazy.
was just even saying like, oh, ha, 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 there might even be a bear behind me. And
You
they
were
at the top
joking
of my
about
lungs.
it, and then the next day you sent me pictures off of your video cameras from like your front door. I was like, oh shit, there really was.
And look at the timestamp. And it was right when I was saying it. So I must have sensed them up top there somehow. So
Yeah.
thank you for not charging down here and murdering me.
Thank you for
bear
not
and
eating
cougar.
me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. All right,
All right.
double header. What a day. Oh my goodness. Unfortunately, Bunny couldn't have been with us today. She has to be with the kiddos, but she was with me
Oh, she was.
earlier
I was
when
gonna say she was here for the first half.
yeah, and she was in the chat and everything too, but she couldn't be on the screen with us. But she was with
Yeah,
me with
we tagged.
Sebastian. Yep, tag teaming today.
Tagged me
It was
on
one
our
of
way
those
out,
days.
and I came in, and
Yeah.
here we are. So,
Yep, and they're
worked
both going
out.
to be
It was
on
pretty
you.
cool.
Oh, what a day.
Yes.
I'm just buzzing. Oh my goodness.
I bet.
Okay. Thank you, chat. Thank you so much for joining us today. What an amazing day. We will be back Friday for Grow Me Gardens, 9 p.m.
Gardens.
Eastern. Get those legs
Yes.
all cleaned up, and because Mama likes to look under the undercarriage.
Skirt. And don't forget,
Skirt.
we also have the homegrown merch. So you can
Homegrown
find,
merch store.
I believe it's on all of our Instagrams. It's for sure on Homegrow Instagram page. So you can go ahead and click that, and we'll see if there's anything you like.
Great way to help the community. All right. Papa's twitching. He wants us out of here. All right.
I know.
Happy growing, everyone. Thank you, everyone. An
Smoking
amazing
in
day.
the heat, smoking when I want to, smoking at the beach.
Oh my
Now
goodness,
I'm from California, we grow it every season. Our
Oh
hands
my.
we need to feed, and we grow it for a reason, because we love our homegrown. We grow apart, we're in our garden, turning to a crowd. We love our